So I'm going to be talking about how I make my Hela costume for Sydney Supernova. It's going to be a video series. So this first video is going to be talking about how I start my research for a costume like Hela. And then the other ones will be smaller documentation videos about how I make her. So right now I am actually up to my second mock-up phase of Hela. So I'm just going to go through how I got to that stage in the first place. So I start off with casting a wide net to do with getting any information I can for her. So I have a look at other cosplayers, not necessarily cosplayers that have done Hela, but I also look at cosplayers that have done Hela, but any cosplayers that have done something similar like Catwoman or Black Widow. I look at the materials that they use, what they have found comfortable for walking around in cons in, and if any of the ideas that I have about what I would like to use for a costume sort of meets what they've been doing as well. Because if you come up with an idea for like a fabric or a technique that you want to use, and then someone else who has done it previously has also used that, then you feel pretty smart. But the other part of the research is looking at anything that Marvel has put out. So any of the promotional shoots, any of the press tours, and any of the behind the scenes. So those are the three really big things that really helped me sort of figure out how I wanted to make my Hela as accurate to screen as possible, but obviously within my limitations of my budget. And then after I did all that research, I broke it down into three sections. So first is going to be the bodysuit. Now this is going to be tight fitting, and it's going to have like a boob sort of like lift and separate sort of look. So this is definitely something I've never done before. So like a lot of my research went into that. So I ended up choosing the Yaya Han cosplay bodysuit pattern, just because that one already sort of had like a more of a fitted design for someone with boobs, and I'll be using a stretch fabric as the base, and I also bought a dance mesh fabric which will be used as texture, and I'm thinking that I'll either take a light misting of silver spray to it, or even just rubbing some acrylic silver over it just to sort of give it a little bit more depth and shine. And then for the accents, I'm looking at using Warbler. So if I can't get like the lift and separate look that I need, I'm going to use Warbler to sort of define that. And then all of the rest of the accents on the body are going to be made out of foam, because I know from experience that it's flexible and it can kind of get hit a bit and it's not going to like ruin itself. And then the second part is this would be really awesome to have. And I'm going to definitely work on this after I finish the main part. So that's her helmet. Now I've never really done anything that is close fitting to my head and has, you know, massive spikes coming out of it. So with my research, I really had a look at obviously previous Hela cosplayers, but also World of Warcraft cosplayers as well, because I know that a lot of the characters in there just have like spikes coming off of them. So I knew that anything that's really like a staple for some of the cosplayers in that community, I know I can use for Hela. So what I thought I was going to do was having a sort of a thin foam base with Warbler covering it for my head, and then having insulation foam as the antlers, and then covering the insulation foam with Warbler, and then having those come apart so it's easier for transportation. And then that's what I'm still doing, because that turns out what a lot of other people did for their Hela cosplays, and also with some World of Warcraft cosplays, that's sort of what they did as well. Like it was a foam base with insulation foam with Warbler on top as detailing. So I was pretty happy that I didn't have to alter a lot of my plans for that. So I'm going to be testing out a couple of different ways for it to sit on my head. The first way is going to be clips in the helmet, so that when I slide it onto my head, it grips onto my hair, so it's less likely for it to move, because I don't really want to have to use prosthetic adhesive to keep it on. But in saying that, if the clips don't work, then I will be moving on to prosthetic adhesive, because there's a local place like a 20-minute drive for me that I can pick that up super easy. So that is my backup for it, but hopefully it won't come to that. And the third part is the accessories for Hela. So I've chosen, hopefully, if I get the suit done, if I get the helmet done, then I can work on her cloak and her sword. So I actually got given a template for her sword, but I'm not going to make that properly out of foam mats. I'm sort of going to lay everything together and then use the warbler on top to create the definition for that. And then for the cloak, I bought a crumpled velvet stretch fabric, which hopefully with the pattern I'm looking at using for it, it won't get too heavy because it looks absolutely amazing when it's blowing in the wind. So hopefully all of that will get done in time. But like I said, I'm still on the mock-up stage for Hela, so in the next video I'll be showing how I go through that and how I edit my patterns like I said earlier. But let me know if you guys have any other questions for me for this cosplay or any other cosplays or any other steps that you'd like to know. Alright, bye!